Sí.
It's a pleasure being with you, even though I can't be physically present. But it's a great opportunity you give me to share some words and some thoughts, and I hope that this keeps weaving a collective effort for life, and of course, if it's life, it's for water. While I speak today, there's a process in northern Cauca in Colombia from indigenous Nasa people for the liberation of Mother Earth. And I want to start there. Speaking about water, one has to start with the sanctity and the sacredness of water. Without water, there isn't any life. Water is the sacred element, but water is the sacred component and the greatest component of Mother Earth. The largest proportion of what there is in life is water. We all come from water, all of us. It was water that made it possible for life to appear on this planet, and for this planet to be a living being. It is because of water combined with the other elements, but water as the element within which we all came to being. And water is also 70 to 75% of our bodies. We are water. If we don't realize that, then we will be aggressive against our own bodies and mistreat them. If water is sacred, we are sacred, which is what indigenous Algonquin people in this part of the world say. If we believe life is sacred, we should believe each one of us is sacred, because we are mostly water and we have to protect water. Hugo Blanco Galdos, an indigenous leader from Peru and the father of the agrarian reform in that country done collectively, and one of the most important leaders of popular struggles in this continent, he says, I used to fight for land. Now I fight for Mother Earth. It's a greater struggle. It's all of life that is at risk. And he says, he insists, today don't teach them Marxism, Leninism. Learn from them to protect and defend water. Oscar Olivera from Bolivia, Yacu Runa he's called. Yacu is water, Runa is people from the water, in Aymara. And Oscar Olivera, as you might remember, was leading and weaving as a voice the Cochabamba uprising against the privatization of water by Bechtel. And they succeeded. They managed to push Bechtel out and to protect water as a public good, as a collective common good. And public and common are not the same, and water has taught us that. Public has been assumed to be government. Common is people's. When something belongs to governments, usually nowadays to states, it means it belongs to transnational corporations, because governments work for transnational corporations and people have very little power over governments. But when common collective goods, that means it belongs to people. Now, as a physician, I know for a fact the importance of water, and we should look at ourselves as water within which we float, within which we move, we relate to each other. We are water. We should feel that that's what we are. Now, transnational corporations today, the latest phase of capitalism, is all about water. They need to destroy excess population and excess capital in order to save the system from its own crisis. But they also need to appropriate what they have made scarce. And what they have made scarce are natural resources. Life itself has been made scarce by the greed of capital. Of all elements, the one that has become more scarce and without which life will not continue is water. Now, so a war has been launched against the people and for the destruction of excess capital that they have created, a global war through epidemics, through extractive projects and processes such as mining and oil extraction and privatization of biodiversity, but also through the privatization of resources to put them in a few hands. The world of the future for capitalism, and which is being built right now, is a world where most people become excessive, disposable, and should be destroyed, and where most natural resources, beginning with water, are privatized and placed in few hands. If water is scarce, it will be more expensive. If it is more expensive, it is an important commodity where speculative funds go to. Water is being privatized right now as we speak, but it's also being polluted. To get 1 gram of gold out of rock anywhere in the world, one has to destroy 4 tons of rock. But to get the the gold out of the rock, one has to wash it with water, with arsenic, cyanide, mercury, and other poisons. That water is permanently damaged, permanently polluted, cannot be used to protect and recover life. This is happening all the time with all mining projects, and Canada is the home base of transnational corporate mining everywhere in the world. This is the hub for mining, which is not affecting only other countries in the world and destroying many countries and peoples all over the world, but it is also affecting Canadians and destroying Canadian soil, territory, and indigenous peoples. In that regard, Canada, at the service of transnational mining and other corporations, in fact, is an enemy of water. It has launched a war on water. This war on water serves a crazy purpose, and the purpose is precisely to displace, dispossess, and destroy excess populations in order to be able to liberate for capital territories and resources with which they will save their own project. So what's the future for capitalism? The future for capitalism is a world that has 40 to 50% less population by the end of this century, a world that will have much less nature if it survives in the hands of corporate interests and capitalism, and a world where only the biggest capital corporations will survive and the rest will be destroyed. This equation explains what's going on in the world today. The wars, the disappearances in Mexico, the massacres in Buenaventura, the killing of people all over, and the transfer of resources and territories to corporate interests and to corporate investments. Behind all this is water. If we fight for water, we fight for life. If water is saved and protected, life is protected. But the only way to save life and to protect life is that water becomes a common good. And the only way for water to become a common good is that we collectively overcome nation states at the service of capital and transnational corporate power and recreate a collective, community-based, weaved with Mother Earth relationship. I'm coming back to the point with which I started. Today, the indigenous Nasa people of Northern Cauca are fighting for the liberation of Mother Earth. In 2005, they entered an hacienda owned by transnational corporations for agribusiness with sugarcane to feed fuel for automobiles. When they entered that hacienda, they destroyed the sugarcane plantation and they sent a proclamation all over the world, which was translated to many languages, including English. And they explained, today we don't want an agrarian reform. Our struggle is not about redistribution of land, but for the liberation of Mother Earth. And they explained, Mother Earth is a woman, is our mother. She's tied, she's jailed, she's tortured, she's constantly raped, abused, poisoned, fed poisons and she's being murdered in front of our eyes. Our mother. This is not symbolic. It's exactly the way it is. We must free Mother Earth. Freeing Mother Earth is taking it away, taking it back from corporate interests, from transnational interests, and mostly Mother Earth is thirsty. The water that keeps her alive is being dried up. So they free Mother Earth how? Taking back land, specific pieces of land, and then not using the land like the corporations do to exploit it and murder it, but to free it, to make sure that it feeds itself and all the creatures can live in it together with human beings in collective communities. So let me tell you this. Today, the battle between Mother Earth against corporate capitalism is being fought through people, specific people. In the case of Cauca, the NASA people are our front, our battlefront of the peoples against corporate capital. So we don't need to help the NASA people do what they're doing. They are helping us by helping to save Mother Earth from its slavery and freeing it. We cannot keep ignoring this and thinking that we do solidarity with others elsewhere. They are helping us have a future which we will not have if Mother Earth is dried up and killed. Saving Mother Earth is also freeing Mother Earth, is also saving water. These things are weaved together, and we know today that if capitalism survives, the world dies. Mother Earth is dead. If capitalism is overcome by life, we will have a future. No water, no future. We have to become like water. Never change, no matter where we go. Be flexible wherever we are. Feed everything all the time. Never change our nature, and also at the same time, while we struggle, join together, be happy, and have no place in the world denied. We are sacred, we are water. We have to be consistent with that and fight for Mother Earth. I hope your meeting goes well, and I'm open for us to keep weaving against capital and for life. If they succeed in overcoming their crisis, death is what will come onto the planet. If we succeed in overcoming ours, water will keep feeding us and there will be life in the future. Thank you.
Okay.
¿Listo? Es que jodido sin tener a la gente enfrente, pero ahí.
Oh, está bien.
¿Sí?
Ya.